GarageBand's still going. No delay for me, right?
Right. I'm thinking of one problem we still might run into.
Oh no, we can't add another problem. We just added video recording.
Maybe it'll be okay. I'm just thinking, I hope it doesn't, when I convert it to MP3, make it a stereo file.
That's fine. I can still split it. I can still split it if it does that. Yeah.
Because I think it does.
Can you export it as a WAV file though when you do it?
I think I can, yeah.
Because that'll just be better quality.
Okay.
So, but yes, if it does if you can do it as like a separate thing,
right,
that would be great. But you don't have to. I can split it.
I don't know that I can see, but I'll figure it out later.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is working.
It was working. I can hear you. You can hear me.
It looks like we're like professional podcasters. Maybe
I know. We got the
try
pop
moving
screens.
This down a little bit. So
we got the pop screens.
That? Yeah.
Up. We move it like right here. I look like I'm at the radio station.
Yeah. I know. This is so cool. Should I move mine a little bit? Like kind of like that, maybe?
I like it tilted.
Like kind of tilted up.
Well,
like
you got like a gooseneck.
Yeah, it's all I have now. It's
really?
this old school. I think we used this when we were like.
Oh, we certainly did. I can't remember what we used it for, but we did.
It's like this old 70s like metal gooseneck thing. But I think I have another tripod somewhere, but I think it's like up in the attic or something.
You gotta join the podcast world and get you a boom stand.
I know. Well, I think I tried to, remember, and the problem was I couldn't mount it on the desk because my desk is like.
Oh, that's right. So you had to
it's like 5 inches high. Yeah. So I think I could still do that though. I could get something to screw in there.
Yeah. That's not that big of a deal. Nobody cares.
No. But this is like a hobby now. So it gives me something to spend a little money on.
Speaking of hobbies, did I tell you I was doing models now?
No. What kind of models?
Let me show you. Just for this episode, just for what we were talking about. You ready?
Yeah.
UFO, baby.
Oh, man. That's a pretty cool looking UFO.
I painted it, built it.
You painted that?
Yeah. See the inside?
Yeah. Okay. So for the people that are listening and not watching, it's like an old. Yeah, what would you describe that? Like an old 50s.
It's from the show The Invaders. That's what this is based off of.
Okay. Yeah. And it's like a flying saucer UFO with like red dots on the bottom.
That's the engines.
Oh,
that's
gotcha.
the fire.
That's a really good paint job.
Yep.
And so on the show, so I noticed the clear top.
Yeah,
is that the way on the show, or is that just so you can
that's just so you can see? They had a regular one, but I chose not to use it because you look at all the work you do on the inside. You can't even see it if you cover it. I mean, it's hard to see, but wherever the camera is.
Well, how do you think actual UFOs feel? Like aliens, they're like, we've got all this crazy technology inside, but nobody can tell. It just looks like we're a tin can. Flying.
That's what they say. Well, there's a lot to get into on that stuff.
Yeah. I don't know hardly anything about UFO stuff, so you'll have to be the expert when we talk.
Well, I don't know about if I'm an expert or not, but.
Well, more than me.
But,
so should we talk about what we're thinking we're going to talk about with this podcast?
Well, yeah. So we're thinking we're going to do sort of this. Let's just be honest about it. It's been done like a billion times.
Yeah, that's fine.
There's a million podcast radio shows, late at night AM station content about anything that's out of the ordinary.
Right.
I don't want to use the word paranormal because that always brings in the ghost aspect, I feel like.
Right. Yeah.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Like weird anomalies, kind of mysterious things, whether they're creatures.
What is it? Cryptozoology and
extraterrestrials.
UFOs, extraterrestrial.
ghosts.
And just weird stuff in general, you know?
Yeah. Right. But the thing is, you're right. There are a million of these podcasts, but people can't get enough.
I know,
including us, right?
That's why we're doing it.
Yeah, that's why. We talked about a million topics we could talk about, and this one sounded definitely the most fun.
Right.
So, yeah. So we're gonna just talk about the weird things.
It's getting weird.
It's getting weird.
So, go through your story again.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just as a feeler into this world of the unknown. Zach is going to retell his story. He's already told me once before. He's going to tell it to you all for the first time of his supposed UFO experience.
Well, yeah, we were talking about it yesterday. I don't know how we haven't ever talked about this before.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't either.
I mean, I thought maybe we did, but I guess we didn't. But I was in Kingsport, Tennessee, so northeast Tennessee. Kind of, it's like, if you haven't been there, it's like a valley surrounded by mountains, and there's a big chemical kind of plant that
maybe that plays into all
maybe that plays into
stuff.
that big giant thing, and
we'll talk about it. What is it? What's the chemical plant?
So it's Eastman, which actually used to be Eastman Kodak, which is kind of cool, you know, if you're into film and stuff like that. But I guess they split up at some point, and now Eastman is just this giant chemical manufacturer sort of plant thing, and they've got, I don't know, like 5 or 6 of them around the world, I think.
Right.
But I mean, that's what we kind of grew up around, and I mean, it's got a particular smell to it, you know, and like it's you know, like the fish in the river have three tails, and it's an interesting place,
right?
But yeah, so that's where it happened, and I think we figured that it was maybe like 2007, 2008, somewhere around there, maybe.
Right.
I was with a drummer that I was playing with at the time in one of my old bands called Old Business was what it was called. Surely that name was already taken by somebody else earlier, but this was the kind of early days of Googling and stuff like that, I kind of feel like. And so I looked, I didn't see anything. So anyways, That's off track. But like, we were outside, it wasn't quite twilight yet, but the sun was somewhat going down. We noticed that there was like a red light, like a red dot up in the sky. But what really was weird about it was we were staring at it, and it was just going in weird directions. Like it was like going kind of like just, you know, and it made no sense. And it wasn't like curved directions. It was like straight lines, but they were like,
were they short and then stopped?
Yeah.
Like it stopped.
Yeah.
And then
it would be like really fast
and
stop, and then go up and stop and drop, you know, it was just like, and no.
How, if you could, like, was this like jet plane height, or was this like?
Yes. It was high enough that it just looked like a dot.
Okay.
Like you couldn't see any shape other than a dot. And it was like, and there was someone else there with me, and we both were like, "Are you seeing this?" "Yes, I'm seeing this." And we thought we had lost
did you
our
say
minds.
It was a color? Did you say it was red?
I'm almost positive it was red. Okay. Yeah.
That's what I thought you said.
So nothing crazy happened after that, and there was no like floating objects.
What happened? Did it just stop?
It did it
out of the horizon or something.
It did it for, I feel like, I mean, it's so hard. It's been so long now,
right?
But I feel like it did it for like about a minute or something, and
then it just disappeared.
Yeah,
like just gone.
Right. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was weird, but it also wasn't nothing else significant happened. So I feel like it's one of those stories that I never think of until somebody's like, oh, I've seen a UFO.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, you know what? I had a very weird thing that I saw once. And that was it.
You didn't lose any time?
No, I don't think so. I have had experiences like that before, though, where I felt like I had completely lost time. But yeah, nothing that I remember.
Was that because of extracurricular activities that you lost time, or was that for no reason?
Yeah.
Well, because the reason why I even asked that is because a lot of people say that, is that if they've seen a UFO, they, may experience a time where it seems like they've lost time. Like they'll, be driving down the road, and then the next thing they know, they're home and they don't know how they got there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think everyone's experienced that, right? I think they just call that like road hypnosis or something, right? Where it's like you just, well, it do the seems same to be, thing.
Well, a lot of people seem to think that it's because of the UFO. Like they're not doing it just out of nowhere. It's in correlation with also seeing, some kind of fly.
Like it happens within the same day or something like that?
The same time, the same exact when they see the UFO.
Oh, yeah. We were like standing. We weren't driving. I don't remember anything like that happened, but.
Yeah. But that being said, there seems to be, well, there's probably a million stories, but the ones, there seems to be like two main UFO experiences when people see them.
Okay.
And typically it's an object floating in the sky, over top of something.
Yeah.
Maybe not really moving or moving real slow.
Okay.
Or what you're explaining, to where it's something that's darting in a sense that no, plane or helicopter, would be able to perform.
Exactly.
So it's, it's just like, do you think it like, like how I've seen the videos and I never really believe them, where they'll be like, oh, look, here's a UFO that I caught. And it just sort of looks like a light dancing or somebody holding a camera and it's like shaking. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Like it's like there's like a weird light flare in the camera and they're just kind of moving the camera around.
Is that what you seen?
No, it was not. It was literally like, it's like a dot. Like it was like an airplane or something, right? If you see an airplane really high up, you can tell, right? The blinking light. But this one wasn't blinking, but it was a light on some form of aircraft thing is what it seemed like, really high up. But it was doing things that, at least that we know of, I don't think there's an aircraft that can do that, because it wasn't like it. I know a helicopter could probably go all directions, but not at that speed. Like it was like it would, and then it would suddenly instantly stop, and there was no like there was no whatever that is, that kind of movement force thing, right? When you stop, and it still kind of slows a little bit. It was just like zoop. Zoop,
I mean, You know what a helicopter looks like. I mean, that's people know how it moves,
right? Exactly,
and or an airplane.
Yeah, and I don't think a helicopter would have been that high either. It seemed like it was pretty high up.
Right. So that's interesting. That's I have actually never seen a UFO. Like ever.
Well. As you can see, sometimes it's not very memorable, so I don't think you're missing out.
Nor have I ever really experienced much of anything, but I've seen enough evidence to where I believe there's something going on. What I mean by that is I've never seen a Bigfoot. I've never witnessed a ghost.
I've got some of those stories.
We'll get into those too. Yeah. I only have like one real like ghost sort of story, but it's really nothing.
Yeah, we can't start.
Yeah, but anyways, I'm not going
stories. Too scary. I have to save those for a specific episode.
Although that being said, I just listened to it wasn't really I think it was part of a podcast, but I didn't finish it. There was this, and I was going to butcher this, but it was an interesting idea that I never thought of. There was a guy that was discussing people who felt they were being abducted.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And that there's an increasing number of people who have called out, like they feel like they're being abducted, or they think something's happening to them, and they've called out in the name of Jesus to stop it. Like Jesus help me, or something like that.
Yeah.
And they've stopped.
Really? There's accounts of that? Because yes. I've always wondered that. I mean, like growing up,
so I
loved that kind of stuff, like the aliens and stuff like that. But my mind would wonder, like, especially, in the.
Well, I think it I'm sorry, I stopped you. My thought on this has been my thought for a while, and maybe this takes me back to a certain mall person situation, but I'm increasingly becoming more of a believer in this aspect of it, is that maybe there is a more spiritual reality to what we think are extraterrestrial.
Oh, right. I think that's what at least how I grew up, I would say the church that I grew up in, I think that was kind of their stance on that sort of thing. I mean, if they weren't just totally dismissive of it, then they were like, oh, these are demons. These aren't aliens.
Yeah. And I am leaning more toward that direction than I think I've ever been.
Really? Okay.
Well, because I think I have to come up with an explanation for it now. Like you can't just dismiss what we think of as extraterrestrials or UFO experiences. Yeah. It's becoming almost impossible to dismiss them now.
Right. Yeah. And it could be kind of like the demon thing. It could be angels as well. Right. That sort of thing. Because, and I cannot speak on this at all because I have not read the Book of Enoch or any of that stuff, but I know that it kind of gets into some of that kind of stuff, right? This idea that it's like, these angels imparted certain technologies to us and things like that, which is very like Ancient Aliens History Channel stuff.
Yeah, we got to get somebody on here to talk about the Book of Enoch, I think.
Right, yeah, because I don't know who could talk about that is Michael.
Oh, really?
Michael. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, he can talk about it. Yeah.
But I am heavily leaning toward that direction.
Yeah.
Of this being a more spiritual reality than it is. I think interdimensional being makes more sense than an interstellar
from another planet. Of thing. Yeah.
From another planet or another galaxy or whatever.
Right.
And I think we have evidence of that biblically too. There's accounts in Scripture of, angels fighting demons on behalf of someone who's on Earth, and things like that.
Yeah. And visiting humans.
Right. So I think there's a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I think it's impossible now to say that there's no such thing as some technology that's out of human possibility.
Yeah.
That I personally think the government has known about for a while.
Right. Yeah. Are you referring to like how the government is like kind of releasing all of this stuff little by little, which is insane that like nobody cares. Just like it all came out. Literally, even me. It's like if this stuff was coming out when I was like a teenager or something, I would have gobbled it up and been like, "This is crazy."
The problem is, I think that people just don't have any trust in the government, so it's really hard to put any faith into anything that they do because, what can you? They've lied about so much things, so many other things that. When they say, "Oh yeah, we've had some biologicals that we found in these."
Is that what they call them?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Biologicals?
Yeah.
What is that?
Just means it's, organic, I guess.
Weird. They're like, well, we can't call them aliens, so let's call them biologicals.
Well, just like they changed the name from UFO to UAP. Anytime
I didn't know about that either. I'm really out of this stuff.
Yeah.
UAP?
Yeah.
What does that stand for? Unidentified something?
Aerial phenomenon.
Unidentified aerial phenomena. So UAP.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. So I think because they're releasing the truth on some of this stuff, that they've changed the wording so it doesn't alarm people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you hear somebody on C-SPAN talking about UAPs and biological,
weird
things, then it's not alarming if you heard, oh yeah, we found some aliens on some UFOs.
Yeah, so weird. Do you think that the government met with some aliens and made a contract with them?
I've heard that. I've heard a lot about that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
that seems pretty.
That seems
knows,
pretty. I guess
that seems pretty far out to me.
Yeah. Well, how would they communicate? I mean, unless maybe the aliens had some kind of, like a Google Translate for
right
for languages here. I don't know.
Right. But that's almost taking this step too far from my rational mind at the moment.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's a lot of stuff that I didn't think that I would ever believe that I believe now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, I think I am leaning more towards a spiritual, interdimensional type being than a extraterrestrial.
Right. Yeah.
From another planet, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I guess they would be extraterrestrial too, but so, but I think there's so much we don't understand about the unseen world, and that we're just getting more glimpses of it. I think now, especially now that you can record anything in the instant on your phone, so you're seeing a lot more, and especially when you get military footage of things that are just being weird, like moving weird. They're shooting at them, and they don't know what they are. Yeah,
they're shooting at them.
There's been a few cases of that. Yeah.
That's a little strange.
Yeah. There's been a few. Most of the time they don't, but there has been a few cases where they fired upon them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it would be hard. I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like there's gonna be some inclusion of some conspiracy talk. You think, conspiracy theories and stuff?
I think you can't talk about UFOs and not talk about the government.
Right.
It's just impossible.
Or just anything. Because I was thinking there's some
Bigfoot even
fun ones that would be fun to talk about, at least.
You want to keep it pretty straightforward and fun. I'm not afraid to breach out into some interesting conversation, to put it lightly.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to say, I've definitely changed a lot. I used to be sort of a 9/11 truther and stuff like that. I don't know that I lean as far into that as I used to. But there's some things to talk about there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it just depends. We could have some episodes on that and, different stuff. Cause I mean, I try to, I kind of geek out a little bit with Disney World and stuff like that. Right, and this is what got me thinking of it.
Oh, we could talk about some Disney conspiracies too.
There's some pretty fun ones that that I keep hearing, and I'm like, you know what? Sure, that would be fun to talk about.
Well, I mean, Walt Disney himself. It would be a good topic,
Right. That's and so. Yeah, but even beyond that, I mean, it's there's a lot of stuff in there.
Cryogenic freezing or whatever.
Yeah, like is his head frozen and underneath Disney World? I mean, I don't think so. I don't think that's true. But yeah, you never know. Crazier things have happened. So it'd be fun to research it and talk about it, because it's one of those where it's like, oh yeah, we've all heard it, but I've never really like where did that come from? Who started that? Like
maybe we get somebody who could talk about it,
right? Yeah, maybe.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. And speaking of which, it would be cool to get listeners to send us their stories and maybe come on and
we'd love to have some people, just like how Zach did basically in this first session, just tell their story,
right. Yeah.
And just to get it out there. Some people just need an outlet for that. It's hard to find those sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
And, they've never told it. So nobody knows what their experience is, just like you. It may not seem like much, but it could, I don't know. You never know. Somebody might go, oh my gosh, I was there that day in September, blah, blah, blah. And remember seeing a triangle in the sky too,
Yeah.
Things like that. So
yeah, exactly. So I guess what we'll have is like an email, and maybe we can have like I created like a Google Voice number a second ago when we were trying to get all this working. Right. We could have it's like, hey, you can call this number and leave a voicemail, or you could send us an email.
That'd be cool.
Or something like that, and then if it's
and then we could just bring him on. We could bring him on the Google.
Yeah.
This thing. What is this called?
Yeah, Meet. Google Meet. This is perfect.
And then just record their thing.
Yeah.
So
perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
cool. Well, we're here at 30 minutes.
And that was easy, and we had no preparation whatsoever. No. We're just kind of jumping into this.
Imagine getting a guest and then just picking their brain the whole time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You want to stop the recording?
Yeah, let's go ahead and stop. Well, let's do like a sign off or something like, this is our first time, everyone. We're trying to get this all figured out and the kinks and all that stuff. But yeah, if you want to join us, you like hearing about this stuff, we'll try to keep it somewhat light, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll talk about things like some of my favorite is like Sasquatch and Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah. I'm ready for the Sasquatch.
I love stuff. The creatures. I love just like creature feature and like Godzilla and all that stuff. So this kind of stuff is just fun, because it's like, ooh, maybe it's in our world, chupacabras and all that stuff. So we're going to talk about all different kinds of stuff, and we will figure out an email and stuff like that, and tell you guys that on our next episode. But yeah, thanks for joining in, and we're going to hop off here.
We'll see ya.